Hey everyone. Okay, so the last video I did, I mentioned very briefly how I had lost 7 pounds. And it was a very brief mention, but I actually had quite a big response from a lot of you, and got a couple of emails actually from a lot of you writing to ask how I've done it and why I'm on this journey, and so many questions. And I thought this could be a really interesting video, so I've made like a whole bunch of notes, and I thought I would go through this with you. Now, if you are a Patreon, I put up a video, I think yesterday now, which was Saturday or Friday, I can't remember. I put up a video on there and I speak in a lot more detail over there, a lot more personal detail over there about the whole background and everything around this. But in this video, I want to give more of a top level in terms of the why I'm doing it and how I've done it. And so if you are a Patreon, some of this will feel repetitive, but as I say, on Patreon, I always try and give you something that I would never talk about on YouTube. And I do believe I gave you all something over there that I'm not going to be talking about here. And it was to do with like a load of like health checks that I had done. You get where I'm going with that. Okay, so. And if you're curious about Patreon, I'll link to it below. It's like $3 a month, and I do 2 videos over there a month, and they are more personal. You know, they're kind of things that I wouldn't put out there, but obviously I try and make it an accessible price, and $3 is as cheap as Patreon will let me go. Okay, so I'll link to it below. Right, so the background. Going all the way back to the end of 2021, I started gaining weight. Now, I know why I have been gaining weight. I'm under no illusion why I'm gaining weight. It's because of my lifestyle. I am very social. I eat out a lot. Some days I will eat out like twice a day. I'll go out with one friend for lunch, and I'll go out with another group of friends for like dinner and wine or cocktails. And that's all empty calories, you know. And I've been doing that. You know, I was already doing it a lot before, but like 2021, I remember getting to the end of the year and I was just making more of a point of seeing more friends more frequently, because, you know, I always thought to myself, you know, life's short and I don't want to, it's really easy to go months without talking to someone. Like, you talk to them on WhatsApp, but you haven't seen them in so long. So I started making more of a conscious effort to see people, hang out, be social. And also, like, since then, my friendship group has grown. So I had friends then. No, I've got friends now that I didn't have back then. But as my friendship group has grown, I'm seeing more people, I'm going out, etc. So anyway, so what ended up happening is I was about a UK dress size 8, okay, back in 2021, definitely 2020. And do you know something, guys? I don't know whether this is quite a body dysmorphia thing, but I never enjoyed it. And that's the weird thing to say, but what I mean is I never saw myself as being particularly slim. You know how just sometimes you see yourself as something. And, you know, when I go back to when I was in my 20s, early 20s, late teens, I was quite overweight, and I always saw myself as that person. I've never seen myself as being slim, and I would look in the mirror and not see it. But now when I look back at pictures of me in 2021, I'm like, oh my God, like, you should have enjoyed that figure because it was a good figure. You were working out a lot, you had abs, you looked great, in my opinion. You know, just as like guys and girls, we can do this kind of thing where we don't appreciate ourselves. And I think to a certain degree, a lot of us get that. And if I'm resonating with you, and if you're like, you know, yeah, 2 years ago, I thought I looked terrible. And today, you know, when you get those memories flash up on your phone of like photos from like X number of years ago, and you look at the picture now, you're like, I looked great then, but I didn't feel it, or I didn't see it, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, I gradually went from a size 8 to a size 10, to a size 12, to what I was a couple of weeks ago, which is now a size 12 verging into a size 14. Now, my weight goes on my legs and on my bum, right? So that's where I put on weight. I do gain weight, obviously, generally everywhere. Like, my arms are not as slim as they used to be. I'm very happy with them, but my arms used to be like tiny. It's more so the legs that was getting me down, because I currently have I was telling patrons this, I've got 3 pairs of trousers that fit at the moment, and that's it. And I decided I'm not going to go into this slippery slope of buying the next size, because that's what I've been doing. I was a size 8, then it didn't fit. Okay, I'll buy a size 10. Buy a size 10, didn't fit. Okay, buy a size 12. Buy a size 12, buy a size 14. No, like we're nipping this in the bud. So that's kind of what's happened over the years. And then what happened was, sorry, that's Louis barking. What happened was I just got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. I got really sick of it. I got really depressed, and I have got wardrobes full of beautiful clothes that don't fit. Like, I have got Dior bar jackets, and my arms are now bigger than the arms on those jackets, and I can get them on, but I can't, I'm like this, I can't put my arms down, because even across the shoulders is tight, across the bust is tight, but on the arms is like skin tight. I bought a size 12 blouse from Holland Cooper last summer. I put that on a couple of weeks ago, and it was skin tight, and I could just about do it up over the chest. And I was like, oh my God, this must be like a size 8 that I've pulled out. I checked it. No, it's a size 12, and it's too small for you. And literally a few weeks before that, it would have fitted. So I just got to a point where I thought, I can't do this anymore. So here's what I did. I went back to my roots, okay? I went back to what has worked for me in the past. And what I have done is got back on top of my calories, because that's where things were running away with me. I know why I've put on weight. It's because I eat too much. And it's as simple as that. And it's an inconvenient truth. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to believe it. But I eat too much. I go out with my friends. I might do a bottomless brunch. That's alcohol. That's food. I might go out for dinner. You know, you have a glass of wine with it. You might go out for lunch, have like a brunch somewhere. You know, all of this stuff. And restaurant food is so calorific. And then, you know, in the week, we might have like a takeaway on a Friday, like a Friday evening for dinner. And again, it's all calories. It's all high calorie food. And I thought to myself, right, something has to change. But how can I still go out with my friends and still enjoy myself and not gain the weight? So what I've been doing is, first of all, I didn't go out at all the last couple of weeks, which I think's really helped with the weight loss actually. But I have been going back to basics with calories. So I'm using MyFitnessPal, tracking everything I eat. Even if I have some ketchup on some food, I will measure that. And it's a pain, right? It's a real pain, but it's working. And again, it confirms to me that what the problem was just eating too much before. I think before, you know, I probably was having about 2,500, 3,000 calories a day. Like, when I really think about it, because you can go out to a restaurant and everything's like 1,000 calories for lunch. And then you go out to dinner and that's 1,000 calories or more for dinner. That's 2,000 calories, probably more, just there in one day. And then you have breakfast on top of that at home, you know, and what you have, like some toast or some porridge or something, like some oatmeal or whatever. That's even more calories. So what I've started doing, and I'm always nervous talking about this because I get people who get very angry when I talk about weight stuff or like fitness stuff. And I think they get angry because, I don't know why actually, they just get angry. But also I do get people that are like, you're not a nutritionist and you've got no place talking about this. And I'm like, well, obviously I'm not a nutritionist. We all know that. I'm just like a normal person talking about my experience with this and what's worked and what hasn't. So I have now got to a point where I'm having around 1,500 calories a day, and I haven't gone back to the gym yet. So I actually haven't been to the gym in months, and then we moved and we need to find a new gym that we like. So I haven't been to the gym in months. However, what I have been doing is, as you know, we've been renovating the house. So there has been like endless painting, which is really physically takes it out of you. We've been digging out the garden, literally excavating the garden by hand with pickaxes. I've actually given myself tennis elbow for real. There's been like every single day I'm quite active now, whereas before, every single day, I want to say every single day, I was sat at my desk. And then what I was doing is I'd work, and then I'd get to lunch and I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to Deliveroo some sushi. So I Deliveroo, and I was doing it like every day, which is also how much money? You know, it was like £20 a day. Like, you know how expensive Deliveroo's got? It's actually kind of silly, but that's what I was doing. And since the last couple of weeks, I haven't done that. And I have literally just cut down my food. That's all I've done. I'm moving around more, but I'm not working out just yet, but I will. I'm moving around more, and they always say, don't they, that like weight loss starts in the kitchen or something. It's what you eat and what you don't eat that does it. I'm also not eating sugar at all. And at first it was really difficult and I really craved it. But now I'm actually at a point where I don't want it at all. I went to the supermarket the other day and they had this like 3 for 2. No, they had this £15 meal deal where you could get a main course dinner, main course, side, a dessert, and like another side, and it was £15, and it was actually quite good value, and they had nice options. And one of the things you had to pick was a dessert, so I picked like 2 little slices of cheesecake. David's eaten them both because I'm not interested, and I don't want to go back there, and I don't want to eat them, and I don't want to like spike my sugar again. Like when I say spike my sugar, I don't mean in like that like a diabetic kind of way, because I don't have that, but like get my taste buds back again for sugar. I don't want to do that. So that's what I've been doing. Now I have dropped in total in about in 3 or 4 weeks. In 3 weeks, I went from 12 stone 13, so nearly 13 stone. I dropped, which is overweight for me. I dropped to, and bear in mind, you might be looking going, you don't look that big. It's all on the lower half, okay? Jeans don't fit. Nothing's fitting. I'm actually in tracksuit trousers today, even though the jeans are starting to fit now, just about, but you know. So I went from 12 stone 13, call it 12 stone. No, 13 stone, call it 13 stone. I then dropped to 12 stone 9. That was last weekend. And it took me like a little bit of time to get to that. But this week has been really quick. So I've gone from 12 stone 9 to, when I weighed myself yesterday, exactly 12 stone. So I've lost like 9 pounds. Like now I think a lot of that's water weight because I'm drinking a lot more water. I think it's water weight. But it's also definitely to do with cutting back the food. I'm sorry about him. He does not stop. That little dog barks all day long. So anyway, that's what I've done. That's how I've done it. I'm going to keep coming back on here. I need to actually remember to get some pictures. I wish I got pictures of me when I was like 13 stone, but I forgot. And I need to get pictures of me as I am now, so you can see what I'm like at 12 stone. My goal is to get to 10.5 stone. That for me puts me back in a healthy BMI, and I'm not super skinny at that weight. I'm just like a healthy size, and I know I can get back in my clothes once I get to 10.5 stone. So I've got like a little bit more to go. Yeah. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know below. Bear in mind, as I'm sure people will say, I am not a nutritionist. Okay. So yeah, just to like put that out there. I'm not a nutritionist. So what's worked for me might not work for you. I guess in a way you could say I'm intermittent fasting, because I have like a very small lunch and then I have my dinner. I'm not having breakfast. I know they say you should eat big breakfast and then like a tiny dinner. That's never worked for me because I go to bed and I feel hungry and it keeps me up. I like to, and I'm never hungry in the morning. ever. So I'm happy to skip breakfast because I'm not hungry for it anyway. So I just have like a small lunch of like some salad or some chicken, and then I have my regular dinner, which could be like meatballs or spaghetti, or, you know, I'm like not cutting out carbs either. A lot of people are like, cut carbs. I'm not cutting anything. I'm just cutting down my portion sizes, and I'm not going back for seconds, and I'm not having dessert. I'm not having sugar, which is what I'm doing. So that's kind of how it's worked. But anyway, as I say, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.